it and see if you can go live.
Hey, I think we're live.
We're live.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Is it working? Yay!
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't know. Can people hear us? Because we're having technical difficulty. Say, hey, if you can, or 2x4, if you can hear me. I'm just making up crap. Okay. Nobody's saying anything, man.
Nobody. It shows.
There we go.
2x4.
Mel's got
There
2x4. Okay, so hey, welcome back to Kentucky Sustainable Living, where we talk about all things festival. It's coming up. What are we, like 3 weeks out or something like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So the festival is 3 weeks out. And y'all, tonight we got a super special treat. We're going to be talking to William Bond, the permaculture consultant. And y'all, I'm just going to tell you, if you want to know anything about permaculture, this is the guy you need to talk to because he knows all the things. So, well, he knows most of the things. And if he doesn't know the things, he's not going to lie to you. He's going to find out the things, and then he's going to give you a call back. So there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know all the things. I don't know a fraction of the things. I'm just making it up like the rest of y'all.
Let me just qualify that by saying every question I've had, he's had an answer for me. So there you go. Maybe I'm just not asking the hard questions. Who knows?
Okay. Well, I think that's part of the difficulty with like homesteading and farming is that people typically the answers are simpler than you think. Most of the time, like nature works like logically. Like it's a logical system. It all makes sense. There's definitely some mysteries, but like thank you, Rock Lick Ranch. But it all makes sense though. Like once you understand like how it works, then you can kind of follow that same pattern everywhere. And there's basic guidelines and rules that you can follow that apply everywhere. And like 2 examples. Don't create any anaerobic conditions and don't create compaction. If you follow that rule basically anywhere in the world, you are going to roughly improve the area if you're trying to garden or homestead. But yeah, right. It's simple. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of the stuff is. I mean, a lot of these things. Yeah, well, I think people overcomplicate stuff a lot of the times. It's like even like the food forest that we've got down here. William, you've seen it. Yeah. People look at it and they're like, holy cow, how did you do this? I'm like, we threw some cardboard down and threw some wood chips on it and planted stuff and kind of walked away. I watered it a little bit a couple of summers ago because we were so dry. I was like, I don't want everything to die, but it's like literally we threw some cardboard down and some wood chips and walked away. And yeah, we got killer amounts of strawberries down there. It's just it's really simple on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like you did a fantastic job on your food forest, and yeah, you do have. I remember when you planted those strawberries, you're gonna get a lot of freaking strawberries out of those. I think you put 200 strawberry plants or something like that.
No, it was more than that. We put over 500. We put over 500 in that whole food forest, and it's the old area is just a carpet of nothing but strawberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably this year the new area will be just a carpet of strawberries.
I was out there awesome. When was it? A couple weeks ago, Jason, and I was picking strawberries out of it and eating them out of the food forest. I mean, they were delicious. Oh, they were so good.
They're so good. And then like store-bought strawberries just make you mad after that. After you have like fresh strawberries, especially when you have like a drier spring where the strawberries are a little bit smaller, they're a little bit sweeter and more intense because they have less water content in them. Man, store-bought strawberries just make you mad. Like why did I even buy these?
Right.
But yeah. But yeah, it's like so the food forest, you're saying that people like are wondering like how did you do that, but they're not seeing like the beginning stages. It's just I think most people get overwhelmed. Like the biggest mistake most people do is like too big too quickly and improper placement of things, and then like that's basically like too many animals too fast, because a lot of people get excited about having the land and then they know a friend that's like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of some goats, you want any? And then you're like, well, I have land, I'm a farmer now, I need some farm animals. So you get those goats and then you start drinking heavily.
You missed a crucial step. It's like, I hate myself. I want some goats. You forgot that.
yeah, that's it.
What? Hey, talking about the farm animals and stuff and problems.
Mm-hmm.
Shelly's only got 4 sheep right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally growing good grass here. Ginger and her bull calf are like they're gonna just trample all this stuff. I'm like, Shelly's got too much grass. I'm like, Shelly, let Ginger come live at your house. So we worked out a deal. So she's like, even in the small paddocks that Shelly's got, her sheep can't keep everything eaten down. I'm like, Ginger will tear the stuff up. So
you could even put Ginger on that. You know how your pasture does, like, well, of course you know how, but it does a U, and you have that wood line or on the edge of the pasture, Shelly?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking to Jason. Sorry.
No, you.
Yeah.
Well, you could have Ginger even hit that, and like I don't know if do you have the pig paddocks running all along the wood line there?
I don't have the pigs. The pigs are going to stay where they're at. I'm not running them anywhere, but we have fenced in that big pasture that we have. And so I'm kind of sectioning that off like the spokes of a wheel so they can come up to the house where the water's at and all that stuff. She'll be out there with them with the sheep. Yeah.
So you are taking her? That's
cool.
Yeah.
I am going to. Yeah.
We got to get her.
Awesome.
We got to get her a shelter built, and then she's coming up there. So
that's cool. That's exciting.
We got to castrate Calvin before I bring him up there. So
have fun.
Yeah, we're gonna rope him and band him and be done with it.
Yeah, Calvin.
Oh, don't do the band.
Yeah,
Calvin
don't do the
is
band.
A product of a little bit of inbreeding, and we don't do that in Metcalfe County.
Oh, right? Oh, you don't, because I remember driving through, and I'm telling you, there's a little touch of it somewhere.
That's Jason's side of town. That's not my side of town.
Don't get all uppity, Shelly. I know where you live. How far are you from London?
On the ridge.
Oh man. How far are you from London?
Me, I am I'm closer than Jason is. I'm probably 2 hours from London.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like right in the middle of you two.
No, I'm in the middle of between him and London. London is east of me. Yeah.
London's east of me too.
Okay, I thought you were okay. I got you. I was over in London not too long ago. I would have visited both of y'all we had more time, but my buddy, he's learning how to do the consultations and stuff. He had to get back so he could go pick up the kids and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's a pretty area for sure. I didn't realize how bad the tornado destruction was over in London until going up there. That was wild.
So I don't know if you all have seen this or not, but I absolutely love it. And you brought up the tornado, and there was a lot of devastation that came through and hit London and Somerset. This last weekend, there's a big fountain in the middle of Somerset, like downtown Somerset. And they had a General Lee, like from the Dukes of Hazzard. They set up a ramp. General Lee jumped the fountain. They had blue water coming up in the fountain. General Lee jumps through the blue fountain and lands downhill on the other side. It was so funny. And they actually did this. Like, everybody in Somerset was lined up on the road to watch this big stunt. It was just, it was totally Dukes of Hazzard looking stuff. It was so cool. And I saw this meme that somebody did, and it said, it had a picture of the car like going through the blue water. And the meme said, Kentucky says, what are we going to do about these devastating tornadoes that whip through Kentucky and has everybody depressed and everything? And then Somerset says, hold my beer. I was like, it was just the coolest thing. They were saying the only thing that's lacking is that the car didn't stop in the middle of the jump for a commercial break.
Yeah. I knew where you were going when you said that. And I was like, I saw that on Facebook. I'm like, they really did that.
I wish I would have went and seen it live. It was just so cool. The videos, all the video shots that I've seen of it are just so cool.
Oh man, Kentucky is a cool state. I do really like Kentucky.
You know how to have a good time.
Yeah, it's fun. There's good food everywhere. Yeah, it's a fun state. There's a lot of mysteries going on and stuff like that too. it's still every time I think about like the Corvette plant, like just swallowing those Corvettes, just cracks me up. Like nobody got hurt, thankfully, but like that's Kentucky. They just have sinkholes and nobody's panicking. Everybody's pretty chill about it.
Well, hey, like
Kentucky.
10 miles down from my house is the Octagon Hall. It's a brick it was about Civil War era, and it's an octagon house out of brick. They say it's haunted, and they do tours, and apparently there is a underground tunnel that goes from the house to one of the barns, and supposedly it was used in the Underground Railroad.
Huh.
So you can go down there, you can go down there and tour it and all that kind of stuff. I've never been there, but people are like, oh yeah, the ghost hunters went there and they were, saying it was haunted and all this stuff. But yeah, there's some cool stuff. Hey, Kim is from Bowling Green. Kim, do you have your tickets to come to the festival? If you don't,
come on out, Kim.
Yeah.
Hey, Forrest is on here and he says, I was doing some anaerobic exercise today and I think I compacted something in my back. That's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah.
Forrest is going to be there talking about good food. He's going to have what is boudin? Yeah.
Oh man,
Cajun food.
Yeah.
Man, he made one of the best coffees I've had in my life. Whenever I went out there to do that consultation for him, he used the Cafe du Monde coffee with the chicory in it, and then he used there's this one brand of chocolate milk at the store, but it's like super creamy. I can't remember the name of the brand. Promised Land. Yeah, where it's like thick. Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. That coffee was perfect.
Everything says go ahead, sorry.
That Promised Land is like drinking a milkshake. It's so thick and everything.
It is. Yeah.
And it's
just
expensive.
Blend up some ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ban Everything says, on top of hard red clay, I made an 8-inch mound of half leaf mold and half compost cow manure. Then keep the ground covered with grass clippings and chopped leaves. So she's making compost on her mound, or he.
Yeah.
I don't know if he or she.
Yeah, that's a route you can go. That's kind of like the composting in place. And you would have, believe it or not, you would have actually a little bit slightly better results or faster results if you take all those materials, mix them together, and then apply in an 8-inch mound. So that way you get like an even dispersion of the nitrogen from the composted cow manure and then the carbon interaction between the mold and the grass clippings and the chopped leaves and stuff like that. So yeah, my father-in-law is actually wanting to do something similar to that, where he uses his tractor. He just got a whole bunch of chips from the chip drop thing, the power lines and all that stuff. They've just been dumping it at his house. And he's wanting to turn it into compost, but he doesn't want to flip it. He won't flip the compost, not by hand. So he's got to use the tractor. So we're kind of trying to figure out a way to, I guess, mimic an 18-day compost pile or a hot compost pile without flipping it. But it's still going to heat up. All the materials are going to be mixed together and still get like a decent product. Because even if you even if you did it poorly, it's still going to be a better product than anything you can buy at the store or at a mulch yard.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on one part, William, you've seen it at the house when you come up the driveway on the left where I cleared all the trees out and made like a silvo type pasture. We were doing, I fed for 2 winters. I fed hay in there. Some of the times we would roll it out, and some of the times we would bale graze it, just set the bale and let them eat, and then they would spread it out. Man, there are spots where that hay has degraded down. There's clover. I mean, clover and fescue. Yeah. You cannot run your hands through it. And you get down there and you look and you just grab some of that soil and it's just black and just grainy and rich. There's worms all in it. And I'm like, all I did was set a bale of hay out and let the sheep and the cow eat it. And
absolutely. And that's how simple it is. Like, yeah, that's how simple it is. If you take like one step towards nature, nature will take 10 steps towards you. And like just doing one correct thing, there's like compounding effects just from that, all beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem I'm having is over on the neighbor's property is getting rid of that stupid broom sage.
The neighbor. I know with the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that, you'll have to change the ratio of your soil biology. So it's similar to like the broom sage has a similar soil requirements as like Chinese silvergrass, where it thrives in bacteria dominant soils. So if you can start raising the fungi in your soil, decompact it and raise the fungi in your soil, then it just won't be like you just keep cutting it down over and over again, and then it won't come back because it's ran out of potential energy, and it's not conducive to the growing conditions for that broom sage. So, and you know how to increase the fungi levels? You make compost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is to get that spot looking a little bit better, and it's getting better. Just grazing it is getting better. So I pulled the animals off of it, and I want to go hit it. I talked to one of my buddies, and he's like, mow it down and mow that broom sage down, and then it should do a lot better. So I want to try one section of it. I've got it splitting up into sections. I want to try mowing one section with the bush hog and seeing what it does.
Yeah.
So Brenda says you won't like this, but he can drag a rake through it with the tractor and turn it. But I know you're against running heavy equipment over the ground, but it will turn in minutes.
So actually, I'm not against the running heavy equipment over the ground. Like the calculation of how much pressure is on the ground from like a big old tractor tire, for most people's tractors, really isn't much pressure at all, and it needs to be under like 100 or like 300 psi for roots to still be able to penetrate. The only thing that really compacts soil at that rate in a quick amount of time is like tilling. Like you can also create the compaction of just long duration of a lighter weight animal or object like a cow. They can create compaction, or tilling. Like those are two of the most common ways that compaction occurs. And but like running a tractor, like as long as you're not taking the same path every single day and you're not doing it in the middle of your cattle pasture, or as long as you're not like degrading grazing land. But where he's gonna do it, it's over by his house. And if he wants to ruin that grass, then he's more than welcome to. And nothing else is going to be like suffering because he's ruined that particular patch of grass.
Right.
So yeah, if you're compacting a small area just to make real high quality compost, then by all means do it. And also the pressure of a tractor calculates to very little like overall pressure with the amount of weight, how spread out the weight is, and then also like you're not staying on a particular spot very long either, or you're not going over a particular spot that many times either. So I have no problem with running a tractor. I'd use a tractor a lot more if I had one. I'm not against them. Anybody want to donate one, hit me up. I'll use it all the doggone time. Kubota, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'll put it in every video.
One of the things I want to remind everybody, Melanie posted it in the comments. Today is the last day for you to get tickets. Now, I mean, we'll still have tickets for sale tomorrow. You'll still get your tickets. But if you buy your tickets today, your name will be entered into a drawing for the last ticket to the Refuge Medical class. Jason and I have one seat left for that class, and we're going to give it away. If you bought a ticket in the month of June, your name will be entered into that drawing. If you bought 5 tickets, you'll get 5 entries, that kind of thing. We're going to do a short live tomorrow, right, Jason?
Yes.
We're going to do a short live tomorrow and draw that ticket. But if you purchase your ticket today, your name will go into the drawing for that class.
And you get a Wonka bar with it.
Oh, a like Wonka bar.
Yeah, like the golden ticket.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to stop with the dad jokes, I guess. So.
No, keep them going. 2/3 of us are dads.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
All right, William, what are you? Yeah. We've got you on tap. We're going to be making compost. And Shelly, I think Shelly's got you speaking. So Shelly's so we're going to be making some compost. We're going to be doing, the festival is going to be heavy on workshops. We're not just going to sit around and listen to people talk for 3 days. It's going to be, hey, we've got stuff. You're going to be getting your hands dirty if you want to and doing this stuff. So we're going to be making compost pretty much every day. and showing the people how to do that, aren't we?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So-
I'm super excited to come out there. The composting classes, like I'm not exaggerating when I say that compost can fix most of your problems on like all your problems on the farm. I said most because somebody mentioned something about like it's not going to fix my financing or something like that, and I'm like, all right, yeah, that was poor design maybe, but yeah, compost can fix all the problems on your farm if you can get down composting. Like you can be lazy on everything else. You can be bad at everything else. As long as you get down composting, like you don't have to be a good gardener. You can overhand plant and just throw seeds. You're grazing. There's examples over in Australia where Dr. Elaine Ingham has applied these compost extracts and teas to the soil where the dairy cows out there are hitting the same pasture 6 times a year and no issues at all. No parasite issues. The grass keeps growing back. Like that's not even grazing correctly. Cows should not hit pasture 6 times a year in 99% of circumstances, but they're able to get away with it there because they have awesome soil biology from the compost that they made.
Awesome.
Sorry, y'all. I got all fired up for it.
Well, that's why you're here to talk
He's
about the
passionate about compost, man.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not passionate about is getting all the stuff ready for you to make the compost piles. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was mowing the yard Saturday, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to rake the yard and bag it and get all this stuff ready and take all this stuff up there and do all the cages. I was like, I'm not excited about this. So
Do you have 30 buckets?
Yeah.
If you have 30 buckets, then you can just fill the buckets and bring them over there if you wanted to. Then we can do the 30 bucket method. And oh, what's up?
I need 90 buckets because we're going to do it every day.
Yeah.
I got 55 gallon drums. We'll just bring 55 gallon drums up.
There you go. Yeah, you could for sure. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I could fill the buckets from the drums and just do it that way. Yeah,
well,
that's perfect.
That'd be a good reason not to mow the yard for an extra week. It's like I'll tell Whitney that I need compost material. William told me not to mow the yard.
Yep. Yeah, chicken bedding, grass clippings, wood chips, like kitchen waste, any of it. Yeah, we can if it's lived, it can live again through compost.
Well,
I'm down for all of it. Animal carcasses. Is anybody processing anything?
Yeah, we got chickens going.
Okay, we can like the organs and stuff like that they don't use, or the feet and the heads. I mean, it's Kentucky. They're probably using the feet, but the heads and stuff like that.
Excuse me, but I make bone broth out of chicken feet. So yes.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, no, I'm just teasing. Chicken feet are awesome. They make awesome bone broth.
Yes,
but it was silly to think that they're going to waste in Tennessee. That's the silly part. The organs, the head, even the feathers. We can compost the feathers if you guys want. So
all right, that sounds.
We can clean it all up on the spot.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because we're gonna be doing chickens 3 days, and we'll be doing compost 3 days. So we'll have plenty of stuff out there. So and heck, awesome. we might have a guy coming out with his portable bandsaw mill and doing some bandsaw demonstrations on sawing some logs.
That'll be cool.
That would be really cool. We should get some of those shavings and stuff and add them to the compost, because like wood chips are a little bit too big for compost. Like their typical wood chips are a little bit too big for compost. Sawdust is too small for compost because it all like kind of compacts together and then it goes anaerobic in there, which is one of the conditions we want to avoid. But the sawmill like shavings are like almost perfect.
Yeah.
Almost perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Silver Sage in the chat was saying she wants the recipe for your chicken feet bone broth, Shelly.
So all you have to do is so when you're processing them and you're dunking them in that hot water, the skin will come off the feet. But if it doesn't all come off, you boil it just a little bit, get the skin to come off the feet, and then you just put the skinless feet, you put them into water, and you can add whatever vegetables you want if you want to, or if you want seasoning. I just do the feet in water and I boil it till I don't know. I don't really have a set time. It's kind of like cooking by your heart or something like that. But I get it to the point where it's a little bit thick, a little bit jelly, and then I can it up. And that's all you gotta do. There's nothing to it. Super,
You put the feet in the.
just like when you're cooking bones. You know, when you're making bone broth out of bones, it's the same thing.
Do you ever put the chicken feet in the air fryer?
No, I don't. I don't
Eat 'em?
eat chicken feet. No.
I don't eat chicken
Come on
feet.
now. What?
I'm good.
Why not? There's like a bunch of good little pieces on the underside part.
That's like people eating, was it pig knuckles or something? Like no.
Yeah. You
No.
gotta season them beans somehow.
So I live in Kentucky. I've been here for a long time, but I'm originally from Indianapolis, and I don't eat that stuff.
You've been in Kentucky long enough. You can't claim Indianapolis anymore. What is it? A Kentuckian? Is that what you're called? A Kentuckian?
Yes, a Kentuckian.
Or hillbilly.
Speaking of Kentuckian, I love or hillbilly. Hillbilly spans a region, though. It's more than Kentucky.
It is more than Kentucky. You're right.
Speaking of Kentucky, Thomas Massey. I heard an interview with him and this comedian Theo Vaughn.
Yes,
we should try to get Thomas Massey to the festival. He's an off-grid homesteader.
Jason,
he's an off-grid homesteader.
Yeah, I tried. It was the last festival, wasn't it? I think it was the last festival. We tried to get him.
That or the one before that, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, me and his media people were emailing back and forth, and then they like ghosted me. Nothing. I was like,
all right.
Okay.
But let's all. What's his email? You got his email? Let's all hit him up.
I don't know what it is. Somebody probably find it.
Well, he's ticking off everybody in Washington D.C. So yeah, I say we get him.
Yeah, I'm down. All right, contact U.S. representative. I'm getting his email right now.
Yeah, stick it in here and everybody will email him. We tried to get Ryan Hall, but he will not send us an email back.
Yeah, a bunch of us have reached out to him. I would love to get Ryan Hall.
That would be cool. And that bad news on the email, you have to send in your zip code and then your phone number, and then he reaches out to you. So there's that. But we could all call him. I think he was even in that interview that I was listening. He was actually like encouraging people to call his office and they'll get with them. Yeah, that would be cool if we could get like a campaign of people saying, "Hey, we want you at Kentucky Sustainable Living," and then bam, that would be cool.
Hey, Grit and Grace showed up, but yeah, well, Rand Paul lives in Bowling Green.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Ron Paul's son.
Huh.
Does he?
Yeah.
Like on your side of town, Jason?
He lives up. Well, he lives kind of in the middle of town a little bit, so he's not real far. I know where it's at.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
better be careful about the rest of what we talk out here. Talking about these representatives and congressmen, we're gonna get put on a list.
Shut down, right?
Yeah, they'll shut the feet off.
Hey, y'all, if you have any permaculture questions, composting questions, general like Bigfoot questions, whatever you want to ask of William, put them in all caps so I can see them because the chat's going by. So.
Silver Sage did have a question. So for those of you that don't know, I literally just got off the Pimpcast. I think I got out of the chair just to pee, and then I came back, and now we're doing this one. But Silver Sage had a question from the Pimpcast that we didn't get to, and it was something about she just moved in 4 acres. She has like a new garden. What are some of the first things to do in a new garden and stuff? Compost. Just immediately start making compost and trying to like remediate that soil and getting it to an appropriate like biological level. Most gardens would benefit from a 1-to-1 ratio of fungi to bacteria, not like one little bacteria organism to one fungi organism, but like by volume. So like if you have a gram of soil, ideally 25% of that gram would be bacteria and another 25% of that gram be fungi, and like 50% of the gram is biological life, which is pretty insane to think about in really good soil. So yeah, immediately start making compost. Depending on where you move to, also maybe put up a fence. Yeah, maybe put up a fence because some of those deer and some of those rabbits can just make it hard to get anything established out there and stuff. So, other than that, it kind of depends. Kind of depends, and that's the typical permaculture answer because it really does just depends on you, who's available to work, your property, all that stuff. Danny G says, "At what temperature is your compost done?" Ambient temperature. I have a bunch of videos on how to make compost, but during the curing phase, so you have your 3 hot thermophilic flips, and we'll be going over this at KSL. We'll be going over all of this. It goes through 3 thermophilic flips, and then it rests. And then once that center of the pile comes down to ambient temperature, so if it's like 90 degrees outside, you're getting pretty close to 90 within 10 degrees of 90. And then typically it's ready. But you can't really say for sure unless you do like a soil test, a soil biology test. Then I can tell you exactly how many organisms and what kind of organisms are there. But usually ambient temperature, you're typically pretty good.
So Jay Gannon says, how can I have a well-running RV and a herd of goats move from New Hampshire to Kentucky and land in a non-exploitative, harmonious, win-win permaculture living vibe with musicians? I don't understand.
Oh, man. Would you go to college, dude? What's up with these words? Hold on. I got to reread this thing.
Well, so
I think he's wanting to come with a herd of goats in his RV to Kentucky with musicians.
A little bit ago, he made this comment, which I totally agree with. He says, I'm from New Hampshire.
Okay.
Cairns took over. Kentucky has the best vibe currently. I agree, Jay Gannon. I agree.
Yeah. So as far as like location, if you're looking for like musicians, now you guys would be the experts, but I'm guessing Louisville would be the like in that general area would be the place to go to if you're like
probably Lexington. I would stay away from Louisville. I would stay and if there's anybody that lives in Louisville, I'll pray for y'all. But that place is a little bit crazy. I would probably get in that whole, like the big fat part of the state out to the east. In the middle of all of that, you've got a lot of different eclectic stuff going on. You've got horses over there. You got bourbon everywhere. There's all kinds of distilleries. There's all kinds of music, all different kinds of taste and all that, restaurants, food, all of that kind of stuff. If you're looking for that kind of vibe, that's where I think you want to go.
Well, Louisville, from my experience, is similar to like Asheville, where like mom can beat up 98% of the men there. So if you're looking for like a decent workout and whatnot, then maybe Louisville. Maybe you're a multi-talented musician. But key point when moving from New Hampshire to Kentucky is that the forage in New Hampshire is different than the forage in Kentucky. So if you can at all, bring a couple of months of hay with you from New Hampshire with you to Kentucky so your goats can make that transition. There's a lot of people who buy animals from like different regions of the United States and then they bring them over to their house and then they have no transition period. And like an example, I can't stand the dude, but Justin Rhodes, he bought a flock of sheep from, I want to say Greg Judy from Missouri, and then brought them to his place in North Carolina, and a lot of the sheep died because they didn't have that transition hay. So their guts have to adjust to the different biome. So that's the key. No matter where you move to in Kentucky, bring at least a couple of weeks of hay with you, if at all possible.
Silver Sage says, we hauled by hand 5 trailer loads of soil, and I am working on the compost. We have a 6-foot chain link fence. I would like to get a consultation to start a tree business with my 6-year-old Eli. So
that is cool.
Get William up. Yeah.
Yeah, if you need a consultation, just shoot me an email at thepermacultureconsultant@gmail.com. It's just the name of my channel at gmail.com. What was that?
I think she was watching you on your dad's channel. Yes, he's coming to visit us. Skane's girl.
She's like, this is
she
where
said
William
that?
Go.
She said, so this is where William had to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I heard somebody yelling. Did you not hear somebody yelling?
Oh, it was probably me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, it might
Yeah,
have been
Skane's girl.
it might have been Lincoln. He's upstairs right above me playing video
Oh,
games, and he was jumping a minute ago.
So Mel has a
gotcha.
question. It says, "What type of food can I plant in the spots where my sweet potato slips died?"
So that's a very that's another it depends permaculture question. So yeah, it kind of depends on where you do you guys know where Mel lives?
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay.
She's like a little bit north
Uh,
of Indianapolis.
so I would say it kind of depends on why your sweet potato slips died. Maybe they were planted too early in the frost. Sweet potatoes don't do well in frost at all. So maybe it was a little bit too early and the sweet potato slips got some exposure to the cold. Um, so that is probably what I would guess, but I would download the app called Gardenate. Garden ATE, all one word. And if you put in your growing zone, you tell them your location and stuff, and then it just gives you like a easy list. Like depending on your month, like this is what you plant out as seedling, this is what you direct sow, this is what you transplant, and then also harvest reminders as well. So that comes in kind of handy with the root crops and stuff like that, making sure like the sweet potatoes don't get too big and get all woody. But yeah, download the app, and that takes all the guesswork out of like, I wonder what I can get away with in this month. Like I just planted my garden like maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm so doggone late on that on that garden, but I used Gardenate to find out like what is almost guaranteed to do well here. So, and then a testament to soil biology is that I live in Texas. It is 90 something degrees out now consistently. We're in that kind of, we have a guaranteed drought every single year. Last year, I did not water my sweet potatoes at all. I had a fantastic sweet potato harvest, or I watered them in. And that was it. This couple of weeks ago, I planted in the rain. So they're getting watered at the moment that I was planting, but I haven't watered anything, and everything is blowing up. It's doing fantastic. And it's just soil biology. Like nature is getting enough water. And it has no human interaction or intervention. So try to mimic nature, and what like principles from nature can I apply to my garden so I can remove myself more from the garden. I don't know how we got to that point, but
Well, I tell you,
compost.
Something else everybody needs to be planting is comfrey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, I showed you the picture when Shelly came down. We dug some comfrey up to do the root cuttings and crowns. I mean, we had over 2 tractor bucket loads. Shelly took half a truck bed home almost to make comfrey salve. And
I believe it.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of it drying. Shelly, those crowns that we set outside in that pan, they've got leaves on them 8 inches tall already off those crowns.
Gone.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, that stuff, heck, some of that comfrey some of it was 4 or 5 foot tall. I mean, it was just, heck, it was like cutting tobacco, really. I mean, it's like, holy cow, I've got a ton of it. We probably got over 100 pounds wet that's drying in the shop right now that I'm going to feed for hay this winter.
That's awesome. And then, I mean, you can cut like comfrey hay off the comfrey plants multiple times a year, especially if you're not digging them up for the roots. Yeah, I mean, it grows back so fast. You can even use it as like a spinach if you wanted to, like cook it like as cooked spinach. It used to be a staple in people's diets until the Rockefellers like figured out how to synthesize allantoin. And then they started saying, oh, the alkaloids damage your liver, even though that's never been recorded outside of a Rockefeller funded study. It's never been duplicated. And then also, if you eat the whole plant, there's compounds within the plant, like the whole leaf. There's compounds within the leaf that break down the alkaloids way before it even gets to your liver. But yeah, comfrey is seriously like an awesome plant. And if you live in more of a comfrey does well in like the temperate environments. And if you live in more subtropical to tropical environment, then switch over to moringa. It's like they're both of those plants. If you can grow both of those plants on your property, nobody can tell you to do anything because you got everything you need right on that property as far as like food and medicine goes. Yeah.
I mean, the comfrey grows like crazy here. I mean, Literally,
Mhm.
Shelly and I, we probably could have pulled, and that was only from like, I think we dug 8 plants, maybe, if that.
I don't think it was that many. I think we dug up 5.
Yeah. I mean, it was stupid.
They were
We probably,
huge.
we probably could have filled, from what I've got, if we just cut the leaves, we probably could have filled 4 or 5 truck beds with comfrey.
I believe it. I believe it. How like how old was it? How many years was it in ground without? Okay, hold on. How long was it since the last time you harvested roots, or did you?
We never did. I think it was 3 years ago,
Oh,
Shelly.
No, it's only been 2 because the place where we dug up from was the second part of the food forest. Remember?
Okay.
We didn't go back and dig any from the original food forest.
So it was just 2-year-old stuff, and we
Yeah.
were digging root balls the size of like they were probably some of them the size of a basketball.
yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
had roots the size of your thumb on that thing. I was like, holy cow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, especially in your food forest, because the roots, like if you're harvesting comfrey to sell, then you obviously like you're a little bit more careful about it than if you're just doing it for your house. So you kind of follow some of those roots as they go out horizontally, and in between that cardboard and that soil layer in your food forest, those roots will just go forever. And you'll get like I've had 6 foot to 8 foot long roots before harvesting them. And like just big old like thick chunky roots, but you only get that after like a couple of years of like not cutting them up or digging them up or anything like that. But you can also like you can get multiple cuttings from the leaves a year, and then you can also get multiple root harvests a year as well.
You know, Leslie, our herbal chick that comes and does our festival every year, she came out to my place and did like we went down in the woods, down at the creek at the bottom of our property and everything. And she was just walking around showing me different plants that we have. We found wild comfrey growing down by the creek on our property. And it looks, I mean, the plant, like the structure of the plant looks the same, but like the leaf texture is different and all that stuff. It's different from the, you know, the comfrey that we got from you all. But I was really excited to find that on my property.
So that one, the native comfrey to North America, is a little bit lower on allantoin. It's a little bit more bitter to animals. But this could be a good or bad thing depending on your application. But that comfrey will actually spread. It'll actually sow seed and spread on its own. So you could get more and more comfrey. You could actually dig it up, bring it up to your house, and then if you wanted to, because it will spread. And you could propagate it with a tiller. You could propagate it with a mower. After the seed heads are formed and stuff like that. And so that's the common comfrey native to North America. The stuff that you guys got from my parents over at Permaculture's farm is the Russian Bocking number 14, which is the highest in allantoin, but least bitter. It's the most palatable to animals. And even if the animals don't eat comfrey, then they're just a little picky, because even the most bitter comfrey still isn't that bitter. Like broccoli rabe is more bitter than I think most comfrey that I've had. But so the common one will spread on you. The Russian Bocking has to be propagated through like a tiller, root cuttings. You can even pull off a leaf from the crown and then plant that in potting soil, and that will root and take over.
Really?
So our Shepherds has a question. So we have a lot of dogs. They poop a lot. Can we make that soil?
Yeah, but there's a very specific route to go with it because of the types of bacteria that are in like omnivore manure. So same thing with like pigs, dogs. I mean, most people's dogs are omnivores. If not, then carnivore manure is still something unique you have to deal with. There's a guy named Eric Sider, and I'll type it in the chat. He has a YouTube channel, and he has specific videos on how to hot compost dog manure. So that's the route I would go. It's a very, like, you need to hit certain temperatures for a certain duration in order to kill some of the pretty resilient bacteria in a dog's digestive system. So keep that in mind. And they have a natural diet, so that's going to be even better.
Mike Sparks wants to know, what is the best time or conditions for applying compost extract to orchards and fields? Best practices, wet or dry conditions?
So the best time, like the absolute best time to apply compost extract, and really like the only time you should try to apply compost extract is right before or right after a rain. Like right in that wet, when the ground is still wet from the rain, that's when you want to apply your compost extracts, because you don't want to like you don't want a lot of your bacteria and your fungi, all the organisms that you spent that time growing, you don't want them to die just from lack of moisture. Like it's going to be hard enough for them to get established at the beginning, but you don't want them to die from that. So like spring is a pretty good time to do it. Fall is a pretty good time to do it. Summer and winter, those are pretty harsh on the extremes unless you have a pretty temperate like location. Like my parents, they were applying compost extract to the remediation site up in North Carolina through the winter in pretty cold conditions. And well, I don't want to spill the beans, but it worked. Compost works.
Yeah.
It works. But like the area is better for it. So yeah. So where was I going? What was I saying?
And when to put it to the orchards.
Oh yeah, when to put it. So yeah, somewhere when it's wet, when the ground's wet, and like I would do maximum. Like you should do minimum is 1 application. Maximum that you should have to do is 3 applications. If you do everything correctly, like you should have a pretty good foothold after 3 applications. So if you think of it as like a military attack, like if you send out your troops in the first wave, like a lot of them are going to die, a couple of them are going to be left. Your second wave, way more survive. You guys are establishing like a foothold, and then the third wave, you conquered the area. Think of it that way. And it just ensures that you have guaranteed good results without having to do the soil biology testing. If you want exact results with that, then shoot me an email, and then I'll tell you the information about the soil biology testing and all that.
So Bill has a question. With your experience with coonies, have you experienced the pigs not just pooping and peeing in one spot and more spreading all over the paddocks?
So yeah, I have experienced that before, but only in certain conditions. Whenever I have larger paddocks, like if I'm going to be gone for a while, and I set up a pretty large paddock for them, then they will start spreading where they poop and pee, but only in areas that they don't plant, that they've already foraged. So they won't do it in like if they can help it, they won't do it in like a spot that they haven't foraged yet. Believe it or not, pigs are pretty clean as far as that stuff goes. If they can at all help it, they won't poop and pee where they haven't foraged and like seen what was available first. Now, depending on where you throw your food, like if you see them pooping and peeing in a certain spot, then don't like throw their feed there and stuff. But yeah, they're pretty. Oh, appreciate it, Brenda. Thank you so much. She said this deserves another super chat.
So Danny G has a question. How do you deal with compost that goes too hot or too cold during the 18-day cycle?
So if it goes too hot, just open it up. Just start flipping it immediately. And too hot is anything between so think you don't want to be anywhere near 171. If you start hitting 165, you need to flip it, because 171 is when the center goes anaerobic. It starts producing alcohol vapors that combust at 171 degrees. So that's how you get a compost fire. So if it gets too hot, just flip it. And if it gets too hot again, then just flip it. And then keep that in mind for the next time you make it, and reduce the amount of high nitrogen additives you have in your compost. And that'll keep the temperature a little bit lower. And if it's too cold...
With these hot days that we're having right now, does that increase the chance of that happening? Like the outside temperature, or is it something that's internal to the thing and it doesn't affect it?
So the outside temperature determines exactly how much high nitrogen inputs you put in. So through the winter, I'm going to add a little bit more like cow manure, for example, than I would through the summer, because the summer heat is actually helping it maintain those temperatures. The organisms are having to reproduce more, or they're having to reproduce less in order to get a higher heat. So yeah, the season does determine how much nitrogen you put in, but it's not going to be very drastic. It's like maybe from 7% in the summer all the way to like maybe 20% in the winter.
So do you
So
have to flip it more in the summertime or more frequently because of it getting hotter to keep it from
only
combusting?
only if you add too much nitrogen.
Okay.
Yeah. The
So
only
what
time
about
you
the
should have
winter?
to
You started talking about the winter, what you do?
Oh, in the winter you just add less nitrogen.
Okay.
I mean no, I'm sorry. The winter you add more nitrogen because you're combating the outside temperatures. And if it's consistently like below freezing 24 hours, either try to do it inside or just kind of hold off. But the cool thing about like composting through the winter, the best way to, in my opinion, the best way to compost in the winter is not doing a hot compost pile. If you're getting snowpack, if you're getting snow, the fastest decomposition rates happen underneath snowpack because it's a very consistent temperature. It's getting a consistent added addition of water. And if you have like a thick layer of organic matter underneath that, if you can get that down before your snow starts falling, you will have fantastic soil the next year. So if you have snowpack, guaranteed snowpack every single year, and you have raised bed gardens at the like as you're approaching winter, before that winter happens, and before that snow happens, try to get as much quick decomposing organic matter in those beds as possible, and you will have some fantastic results in the spring.
Awesome.
That
Yeah,
sounds
and
great.
that almost makes me want to move to a place that gets snow every year. But you know, that gets old quick too.
It's not worth it.
No,
We
No.
don't get as much snow as they do up further north, so it's not bad. I mean, really,
Yeah.
we might get a total of maybe 2 weeks of snow a year, and that's spread
Yeah.
out over 4 months. I mean, wouldn't
Mhm.
you agree, Jason? We don't
The
get
snow- Oh, typically the longest I've ever seen snow stick around here has been like a week and a half, and it's
Yeah.
gone.
Oh wow,
Yeah. I mean,
there
heck,
was Snowmageddon here not too long ago, a couple years ago.
I know
Yeah.
it killed a bunch of people in Texas because y'all ain't got no heat. I mean, or no, like your
Sense?
houses aren't insulated and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the drivers. Yeah, there's a 300 car pile up in Dallas. How? Like, have y'all ever driven in Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to fly in
It's
there when I go to Irving because I have to do trainings down there.
it is freaking. I hate it. I can't stand Dallas. I cannot stand Dallas.
I
Driving
drove.
there is
And the whole
insane.
thing, the whole interstate system you all have down there makes no sense to me because you've got like there's the interstate and then there's access roads on the side and then you don't know where
Yeah.
you're supposed to take or where you're supposed to turn and then you end up going the other way and it's like what the crap is happening here?
Well, hey, don't say you all. I'm trying to move. I'm trying to be a Tennessean or a Kentuckian.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to
I
stay in
Get
this
your hind
cesspool.
end up here and get out of that mess.
I drove.
I'm
I drove
trying.
in Dallas. I drove in Dallas for 5 minutes. I was 16, had my permit. We were down there with my parents, and my dad was like, "Do you want to drive?" And I was like, "Sure." So I go to get on the interstate. I mean, just 100 miles an hour flying by me. I drove from one exit to the other, barely got merged on, and I pulled off on the exit ramp and got out of the car. I said, "I will never drive in this place again." He was like, "Is it that bad?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, "You knew what you were doing," and I was like, "I'm done." I didn't drive the rest of the week we were down there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Anytime I can help it, I go around Dallas. Anytime I can help it,
so
which
Melanie's
ends up
got the
being
last
faster.
question. Go ahead.
I was just saying, it ends up being faster because you don't have to deal with the wrecks. There's always wrecks in Dallas.
Melanie's got the last question of the night. William, what is your best Bigfoot story?
Oh man. So I don't really have any. Okay. All right. This actually even lines up with permaculture because it was during a consultation, and I'm not even sure this was Bigfoot necessarily, but I was doing a consultation over in Tennessee, and this is more of just like a paranormal story. I was doing a consultation in Tennessee, and it was outside of Knoxville. It was this side of Knoxville. It was west of Knoxville. And it was in this area. It was called the Tail of the Dragon, which apparently is like
Oh,
this
yeah.
dragon. Okay? Yeah, I was at the entrance of the Tail of the Dragon,
Okay.
and that's where this dude's property was. Now, a local legend in that Tennessee area is oh, I don't know that I should say the name, but there's an entity in that area that attacks children, and it's known for like attacking children. Intentionally not saying the name because, yeah, just
Words have power. Gotcha.
yeah, and I ain't calling nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, and like it's a supposed grave site was on the property I'm doing this consultation for. Keep in mind, I don't know none of this on the way to this property. I'm finding everything I'm telling you right now, I'm finding out on the property. On the property. And something told me I should have 3 magazines on me. And I'm like, all right, I got like 48 rounds on me for whatever happens. Okay, keep in mind, I have 48 rounds on me, and this dude next to me has a 6-shooter. Like, what are you going to throw it at him after you shoot 6 shots? What are we doing here? This is Tennessee. Come on now.
Right.
Man. So I get to the property and I start finding out, and I'm like, all right, so this is where the gravesite of this specific entity that the Cherokee had to battle when they first showed up in the area. According to their own legends, they had to battle this, and then the I guess the hillbillies or white people that showed up afterwards were like, well, you didn't do a good enough job because it's still here. So this is the gravesite of the area, and then also there are aggressive black bear in the area, which I haven't heard of any consistently aggressive black bear before that didn't have like, it wasn't a mama bear with the cubs and you're like trying to pick up a cub type thing.
Right.
And then also, there's just weird occurrences going on the whole time. His first 2 weeks there, 2-week mark hits, and his baby daughter like medically dies, has to get life flighted out. She's like maybe 8 months old at this time, medically dies, has to get life flighted out, and like just barely makes it. And and then there was a time when he was moving in, and he knew all this stuff before moving to this property too. And whenever he was moving in, there was a time before his wife and baby moved in that he was still unpacking boxes. It was just him at the property, and he was upstairs, and something came up on the porch. Like he could hear something heavy and like big walking. He had a big wraparound porch, and it was walking around his wraparound porch, and he thought it was somebody stomping outside. And then from the porch on the back side, it's uncovered, and it was like right below the room he was in upstairs, and big, like he saw the hand swipe by, like it went past the window, and it just slapped the wall, and the dog, like the house started like, you know, vibrating from a big thing slapping the wall, and this dog like hid under the bed and wouldn't come out for like a week or so. And he's like went outside with his little 6-shooter, went outside and was like, I'm gonna get it, and then walked around and couldn't find anything at all, but saw, like, because of his house being dirty, he saw like how much I think it was like algae, he said, was actually wiped off that side of the wall on the outside from that thing slapping that side. Like he could see where it hit, how big it was, like how tall it was, and like how big the arm was. So from there, I'm finding all this stuff out. I'm like, all right, well, now let's go hike this property after finding all this stuff out. And then that's also where I'm like, all right, well, I've got, you know, 1 magazine in my gun, and then I'm carrying my Glock 19, which is a 9mm, so which is good for like 99% of the stuff that I deal with, but I ain't never shot a Bigfoot or like possessed bear before either. Probably not gonna. I'm gonna need all 48 rounds for a bear, and yeah, and that's when I find out he's carrying a 6-shooter. I'm like, you have any other options, man? Like, you just told me all this stuff going on this property, and now we're about to go hike it. So nothing goes on for a while. We do walk right past that one grave site. And like, I'm praying as we're passing it, and this dude is like dumb to it all. Like, he has no idea what he's like willy-nilly about. Like, he's showing no respect to any of this stuff at all. But he's also like, he still hasn't made the connection of the entity that lives on his property that kills children and his daughter that went through that whole process, like first 2 weeks of them moving in or so. Like, there's some disconnection going on with them. So we get up on the ridgeline because walking the ridgeline is much easier than walking up and down mountains. So we get up on the ridgeline, and it's fairly clear. There's a bunch of logging road, or there's one logging road up on the ridgeline. One thing I did find curious is that the bowl of the property was never logged and was never messed with. That does seem odd, but literally everything else around it has been logged. Like they only used his property really to get to the other side, which stood out after the fact. But we get up on the ridgeline, we start walking around, and I'm noticing all the wild blueberries that are in either side of this road, which I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is paying off. We're getting some blueberry snacks, some pretty sweet wild blueberries. If you've never had wild blueberries, they're the strongest blueberry flavor, and they're the sweetest blueberries you've ever had in your life. But they're like half the size. Really good though. So I'm munching on these, and we're like, so the pattern of walking is stop by a bush, harvest a bunch of blueberries, walk to the next bush, harvest a bunch of blueberries. That's the pattern of walking. And during that pattern of walking, I'm noticing like when we start walking, there's another set of footsteps that walk, like not on the path, but like in the forest on the side. There's another set of footsteps that walk. And then when we stop, there's like a half-second delay where you can still hear that footstep traveling. Like there's like, oh crap, they stopped type reaction. And each berry bush that we're stopping at, like that's happening. And as this is happening, once I realize this is happening, I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't see anything. And it's not like there's a bunch of dense vegetation or like around me. This property is pretty old growth forest. Like it's pretty old growth forest. So there isn't a whole lot of understory going on. There's a whole lot of overstory. And I'm like looking around and I don't see leaves moving. I don't see anything around me. I don't see even like a shimmer or anything like that. And so I just kind of pay attention to it, and I'm like asking him, like, do you hear anything? He's like, nope, I don't hear a thing. I don't hear a thing. Like a freaking Labrador or something. He's just like happy to be here. With this freaking 6-shooter. So and then we finally like make it down to the bottom of the property, and then that was the entirety of the thing. But yeah, that's probably. And then also he was telling me as we're up on the ridgeline, he's pointing to areas where he's had like black bear charge him and stuff. And I'm like, or like black bear start stalking, because the ridgeline on his property, it's pretty high up, but it's not the highest one up, and everything in that area is kind of old growth. So you can see surprisingly further than you would think you could within the forest, because there isn't a whole lot of underbrush, because there's not a whole lot of sunlight getting through that canopy. But so you can see a bear on the other like face of the mountain, and you can see like maybe not its features and stuff, but you can see that it's big, and then you can see that it's like, oh, walking my direction, stuff like that. And he's had them like track him all the way up to his house, but he also said that they would stop like by the like as you're going down the mountain towards his house, you pass the grave, and they wouldn't go any further than that to his house. Not necessarily Bigfoot, but
you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I don't know. There's gonna be a dead foot if it tried, or at least the attempt was gonna be made. Man,
I can't believe the dude has black bear on his property and all he has is a 6-shooter.
He has other guns. He's just like he's got like Western guns. Yeah, he had this like. I'm like, dude, be a cowboy at the range. Don't be one out here.
Right.
Like had I known what we were dealing with, I would have had a handgun, but it would have been a secondary. I would have brought it like a rifle, or I'd have just been like, are you actually going to grow anything? Like, are you going to waste this consultation, or are you actually going to follow this?
Because I don't want to be up here if we're like just playing.
Right. Yeah. And the cool thing about it is that he owned a knife store, and I love and collect knives and stuff like that. And so we started out at his knife store just geeking out over knives, and then we made the way over to his property. Oh man, we could have just stayed at the. And hey, guess what? He's not growing a single thing. He's not doing anything. So it was wasted. Oh man.
Good.
Well,
Brenda says black bears don't require a gun.
Yeah, it says get real big and real loud, and they'll leave. So
it's going to get loud.
They're going to require a gun if I see one. It's going down.
Yeah, they have the whole Daniel Boone forest to mess with. They
Yeah.
don't need to be following me on a ridge line.
Yeah.
So if
Oh,
you
man.
all want to know what's happening at the festival, you need to go to KentuckySustainableLiving.com. You click on festival and you'll see a list of the speakers. William is one of the speakers. He's actually going to be speaking on, putting together a permaculture homestead. And then he's going to be doing a workshop on how to do compost because William knows how to do all the things.
Not all the things, Shelley.
You know all the things, man. You've answered all my questions.
Oh man.
So anyway, if you want to see a list of all the speakers and all of the workshops, you can see that on the festival page at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. Let me think. Tomorrow night, and we don't know what time yet, but tomorrow night we'll be getting on and doing just a quick live to tell you who won the ticket to the Refuge Medical class. Wednesday night, we'll be getting on and doing a live with Spags and Data from Midwest Preparedness Project and Nicole Sauce from Living Free in Tennessee or Self-Reliance Festival. We're going to be doing a live with them about the North American Preparedness Tour. And then Thursday, we'll be doing another live with Mike Adkins, who is coming to teach a land navigation class at the festival. Y'all can learn orienteering. Like, it's pretty awesome. But we've got Melanie has been putting, and Miss Sharon, they've both been putting a bunch of links in there to William's email address, so you can contact him if you need a consultation, his Instagram, his YouTube channel, our information, so you can go back through that chat and find any of those links that you need. Do y'all have anything else?
I will be on tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Central for Clickbait and Coffee. So that's my morning show. So we'll figure something to talk about. I'm going to do some show prep after this. But yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning, Clickbait and Coffee, I'll be here.
Man.
So
yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. I like doing podcasts with you guys or live streams with you guys. Yeah, I don't have anything to plug. I'll be at KSL, y'all. Everybody go to KSL and come say hi to everybody.
Yeah, get your tickets. Tonight's the last night if you want to win, to be able to enter and win a spot in the refuge class. Get your ticket by the end of today, and then, but we've still got tickets. I mean, we're not going to sell out of tickets, so keep going. I mean, we would have to sell 3,000 or 4,000 tickets to sell out before the fire marshal got mad, but we're not at 3,000 yet. So guys, get your tickets. We appreciate it. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, either at 8 o'clock in the morning with me, or we'll probably be 6:30, maybe something like that tomorrow night. So
we've got a meeting at 6:30.
All right.
So it might be 6. Maybe we can jump on there at 6.
All right. That way we won't jump down rabbit holes.
There you
That's
go.
a good shirt, though.
Got to keep them on
That's
track.
a good shirt.
What,
let's make the fire marshal mad.
Oh,
or make the fire marshal mad or something like that.
Let's piss the fire marshal off.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Y'all have a fantastic evening. Be safe this weekend. See y'all later.
See y'all.
See you guys.